There's a lot of choices nowadays in the mid-sized truck market, but today let's look at the two Japanese brands, Nissan and Toyota, the pros and cons of each, and which one should I have bought? Hey guys, welcome to another episode. I'm that car guy, Tim, and today on this show, we've got a very special guest. I brought in Jeff from Cordetti Motorsports and his beautiful 2019 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. Now, we're going to compare the two trucks and see if I made the right choice with the Nissan Frontier, or should I have gone with the Toyota Tacoma? Let's find out. Okay, you guys, let's take a look at Jeff's Toyota first. Now, looking at the Toyota, it has presence. Just look at that. I love the snorkel. I love the rims. Those are the factory TRD Pro rims. The mud flaps that Toyota gives this truck, I love. They stick down nice. I've always admired kind of the longer mud flaps on Toyota trucks. Now, it's important to note with this truck has best in class ground clearance from the factory. It also has really good approach and departure angles. On the Frontier, on the back end, you'll notice that both of our vehicles have kind of a rough area here. Now, it's important to note that Toyota also did a little bit of a 3M patch here as well, and did a little fin here to help protect the paint, whereas my truck, it doesn't. The rear bumper is flush with the back end of the bed. Mine sticks out. That's a con of my truck. Rocks will fling up from the tires with the mud flaps, and it'll hit that, and my truck's already rusting because of it. This truck, pristine shape. Now on the back, let's take a look at the badging. You can tell that Toyota put a little bit of extra effort into their badging. Nissan, they've got kind of the raised badging, whereas Toyota, they've got the 4x4 and the TRD Pro raised, but they've embedded Tacoma in extra black lettering to make it really pop. Now, it's very nice to open up. I can let go, and the tailgate opens itself. This is kind of a hard rubber bed and kind of a plastic rubber hybrid lining the bed. Now, that's handy, but I personally love the spray in. Obviously, it's working for Jeff. A beautiful Tacoma emblazoned cover on here. He also has the tie-down hooks here too, but he also has some hard mounted in the bed right there. That is kind of handy. He does not, however, have the in-floor rail system. One thing I do love about Toyota is the tail lights. Just look at this. It's a gorgeously designed tail light. Now, this is something that I wish the Frontier had. Look at this. This is a beautiful, beautiful air scoop in this. So many ways for air to get in, so many ways to cool the truck. I love Toyota spelling out their name on the grill right there. That just looks beautiful. And you can tell there's your Ford collision mitigation software there as well. Rigid Industries fog lights from factory, which is gorgeous. I love how they're small. Now, looking under here, of course, Jeff has the TRD Pro package, and he has this beautiful skid plate. It's nicely emblazed, and of course, you can tell it's tough, it's solid, it's a thick steel. Okay, so looking at the interior in this truck, this is a very beautifully laid out interior. Now, there is a lot of black, but you know what? It complements the truck beautifully. You have your black headliner on the top, black seats, black leather seats. Now, the seats here, they have a bit of a texture to them, which is really nice. It's different than what's in the Frontier, but you know what? It's nice. The seats are nice and plush. They're comfortable. I can imagine going on a long road trip in this truck and still being very comfortable by the time I reach my destination. Of course, Jeff opted for the manual transmission in this truck, which is available in the crew cab, something that Nissan does not offer in the crew cab and is completely cutting out in the 2020 model. You cannot get a manual transmission in the Frontier anymore, which I have mixed feelings about. I understand their motive for it, but as an automotive purist, I'm kind of sad. So the fact that you still get a Taco with a manual transmission, I love. Now, there are a lot of buttons in here. First glance, it's a little overwhelming, the amount of buttons in this truck. But once you get used to it, once you get familiar with it, it is a well laid out dash. Now, the one thing that the Toyota is missing that the Frontier has is a roof rack. You cannot get a factory roof rack. That being said, there are plenty of aftermarket roof racks that you can get for this truck, and they all look amazing. Okay guys, now we're in the back of the Tacoma, and honestly, there is plenty of leg room. I am about 5'7" and I have plenty of room. Yeah, I'm short, I get it. Beautifully laid out cup holders, nice, easy to use. They're there, you can use them as storage. You don't have to use them exclusively as cup holders. The one thing that the Nissan has an advantage over the Taco with, as far as the rear cup holders, the Nissan has kind of a pivot system in its cup holders, so you can fit a big gulp easy, or you can fit any size cup that you want there very easily. As far as a rear center armrest, well, there is none, whereas the Frontier just has kind of a basic one, but it's still an armrest. Okay, so I stole the keys from Jeff. Let's take this puppy for a little spin. So initial thoughts when it starts, the starter sounds solid. It has a beautiful note on the exhaust. Very, very nicely done, Toyota. Now, of course, one advantage that the Toyota has over the Frontier is you have a whole slew of driving aids. You have your parking assist, you have your lane departure warning, things that would get you a little bit of a discount on BC insurance with ICBC. Whereas my truck, it's all up to you, so I don't get these fancy discounts on my insurance. 6-speed manual transmission with a push down for reverse. Very, very nice. I wish my truck had a 6th gear. I find my truck going down the highway, she revs at about a little between 2,500 and 3 grand, whereas the 6th gear would bring that down and greatly improve the fuel economy. So let's put her in gear and let's go for a little spin. Let's see how this goes. So the clutch in this truck feels amazing. Steering is nice and easy. So far the feedback from the wheel is all right, but then again, I've driven it 5 meters. Cab noise is obviously very quiet. You can hear just enough of the engine to shift and know when to shift without looking at the tachometer. The instrument cluster, very easy to understand, very easy to glance at and see your speed. Now, of course, living so close to the border, I do find myself going to Idaho a lot to do off-roading and visit family and friends down there. One thing I do love about this speedometer is the imperial units are extremely easy to read, whereas in my Frontier, it's always a gamble as to what speed I'm going in the States. Rolling from first, the clutch is very easy to understand, very intuitive, and I just can't get enough of this transmission. It is a very smooth transmission. It's easy to have smooth shifts. The center screen is very easy to understand at a glance. Very big buttons to touch. Now we're going to do a little bit of a brake test with the truck now. Let's see how well she brakes. Pop it in neutral. And we're going to brake in 3, 2, 1. Very nice to brake. The brakes are very responsive. Brakes very responsive, very quick. The ABS kicks in right away when you need it to, and overall, very good. I love that beep. The backup camera is very nice. It could use a little bit of a color update, but again, it's a backup camera, not a TV. And because it's a manual transmission, you've heard the truck beep when you go into reverse to remind you, hey, if you want first, you're over a bit too far. So those are my thoughts on the truck, but you know who's the expert on this truck in particular? The owner. So let's bring in Jeff from Cordetti Motorsports. He's the one that owns the truck. Come on in, Jeff.
Hey Tim, how'd you enjoy the ride?
You know what? It was amazing. I'm having some trouble deciding, did I make the right choice with the Frontier?
I think you did. I mean, although I love my truck, it's, depending on your price point and what you're looking for in a vehicle, they're both capable 4x4s. They're both mid-sized truck segments, and, they have their strengths and weaknesses, but at the end of the day, you buy what is available to you.
Absolutely. And for the amount of money I saved by buying the Frontier, even with my employee discount after taxes and HST and all that, even with that, I still have plenty of money left to do some upgrades like the snorkel and that, and still come out probably a little bit under what you paid for this truck.
Oh, definitely. That's what you got to look at. Do you want to just have one vehicle, very little modifications or nothing, or do you want to play with your vehicle? Having that price point difference allows you to play with it for modifications. And in this idea, while you could say it's already done, I'm just going to go and enjoy it and maybe do small modifications like a winch or upgrade your tires. But you don't need to add armor. You don't need to add any different axles or ratios or lockers. It all comes basically standard with this package.
Absolutely. And how has your experience been with Toyota? You're a man of many brands. You've owned many different brands in the time I've known you. What's your experience been with the Toyota brand and the Tacoma?
The Tacoma has been great. The Toyota brand is excellent. I mean, they make a great product. Fit and finish, the quality of the vehicle is good. There's a couple things that are lacking that, you'd have with any major manufacturer with price decontenting. So what they want to do is they want to make money, and so what they'll do is they'll find ways to save $1, and Toyota's no different. So for this, and it's not an excuse at all that I found, using rear drum brakes in a 2020 4x4. Drum brakes were outdated 20 years ago rather than, a few years ago. So that's where Toyota's making some of the cutbacks and some of the, cutting corners on trying to make it a little bit more of a profitable proposition for them. The paint's lacking a little bit. It chips very easily. I'm kind of disappointed in that. But, you got a solid engine, solid drivetrain, solid design, reliability, dependability, and Toyota's resale value. If I were to go to sell it, yes, I paid a little bit extra on the front end, but I'm going to make that back when I go to sell it, as long as I don't destroy the truck. What brought me to this truck was the manual transmission and the color Voodoo Blue, but the paint, it just seems to nick and scratch easier than, let's say, my really entry-level car, the Chevy Spark. That paint seemed to be a little bit more durable. So, again, nothing's perfect, but you live with what decisions you make.
Absolutely. You know what? Beautiful truck, beautiful touches. I love the unit end radial that you've put in and the snorkel that came from factory. Like I mentioned, that's something that I wish my Frontier had, but you never know. It might be on the list of things to do to the truck. That list is just keep getting longer and longer, but we'll see as time goes on. But as far as this truck goes, beautiful truck, beautiful layout. Amazing owner. Go check him out, Cordetti Motorsports. There's a link to his channel right above or below in the description. Awesome truck, man. Thanks for letting me have a cruise around in it.
My pleasure. It's been fun.
So what are my overall thoughts on Jeff's truck? You know what? The 2019 Tacoma TRD Pro, a beautiful, beautiful truck. The price? I still have a hard time justifying spending that much on a mid-sized truck. Sure, he's got a front diff and a rear diff that both lock in some form or another. Sure, he's got the forward collision mitigation and the lane departure warning. He's got some more tech goodies, but for me, I'm a purist. I don't like having a car tell me what to do and intervene. I like having my hands on the wheel and actually driving the thing. So overall, it's a very nice truck. I wish mine was a manual, but due to some reasons, I can no longer daily drive a manual. The good thing about this truck is it's a proven chassis, it's a proven platform, engine, transmission. The thing runs beautifully. It's the 4-liter V6. Is it the most fuel-efficient engine out there? No. Back in 2004, 2005, when this truck debuted, it was a pretty good engine. It was acceptable. It was fuel efficient by the standards then. But as time went on, 15 years later, it's no longer a very fuel efficient engine, or what is considered to be a very fuel efficient engine. Jeff's truck, on the other hand, has a little bit smaller displacement engine, still has a V6, has a 6-speed manual, and the thing hums along beautifully. It's a beautiful exhaust note as well. This one has a really nice exhaust note too. Overall though, would I buy Jeff's truck over my truck? No. Because, again, like we mentioned and like Jeff mentioned, price. I can do more to this truck and still spend less than what Jeff spent on his truck and have a better truck. The main thing is, what do you want out of it? This is a truck that is proven. It's a proven chassis. It's a very well built truck. Both trucks are built extremely well. Both trucks have very good reputations behind them. If you look in the BC interior, some of the older trucks, you're going to see a lot of Datsun, which is Nissan's predecessor, and you're going to see a lot of older Toyotas. So they've got the reputation behind them. Both have a proven product. Both products are amazing on and off the road. But all in all, I still love my Frontier. It was perfect for me at the time. It's perfect for me now. The only thing I don't like about it is the color. And we'll talk about that in another episode. But that is my review of Jeff's 2019 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. I love the snorkel. I love some of the extras that Toyota's put into it. Still though, I love the simplicity of my Frontier. I love the humbleness of my Frontier. It knows what it is, it knows what it can do, and it's great at doing those things. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button. As well, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Those links are down there too. Make sure you click on the Instagram though, of course. You get sneak peeks and behind the scenes of future episodes coming up. Make sure you go and subscribe and click those, follow those. There's going to be amazing things coming down the line, I promise you. I'm getting excited about where this channel is going. We're growing on all social media platforms that we're on. It's going to be an amazing, amazing adventure. If you missed the last episode, it's right up beside me. There's also a link. You click that and that'll take you, and bam, you're subscribed. So make sure you check out last week's episode and click on the other link, and that'll take you to the home page where you can subscribe and take a look at all the other episodes. You can also check out Jeff's Bricklin, which he named appropriately Betty White. Check that out. That is one cool classic as well. Thanks so much for Jeff for having me. We'll see you guys next time. Have fun. Get her done.